Well, hey everybody, Andy Kvernen here with another Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. Several years ago, my wife and I were having a conversation. We were joking, and we were thinking about what the Lord would have for us in the future. And one of the things that she said that I'll never forget was, I could live anywhere, I could be anywhere except for Iowa. I don't want to live in Iowa. Anywhere but that. And it wasn't too long, maybe several months later, that the Lord called us to live in Iowa. And we had a great time there. We experienced God's blessing there. God was so good and so gracious. And yet we laugh often that when we try to predict God, when we try to put a God into a box, we end up really discovering that we don't control much. And then, in fact, we control nothing when it compares to God, who is sovereign over all things. And it reminds me of this passage in Deuteronomy chapter 10, where again, God is revealing himself to the people of Israel. Moses is recounting the story that God has written before they go into the promised land. He's recalling all the works of God, and he's giving them these amazing little nuggets about what it means to walk with God and to have hearts that are soft to God. And we get to Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16, and it says this. It says, and of course, this is after the covenant of circumcision that God had given to Abraham. This is a part of what it looks like to be God's people, for the men to be circumcised. But listen to this. It says in verse 16, it says, "Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no longer stubborn." Moses is saying, and really God is saying to the people, look, an outward act is one thing, but really what I want you to do is to circumcise your heart, to have your heart open to what I want. Now listen to how he develops this. Verse 17, he gives reason for this. He says, "For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, and the awesome God who is not partial and who takes no bribe." What Moses is saying here, what God is saying to the people is, look, I'm God. I'm independent. I don't take orders from anyone, and I'm not obligated to anyone according to their desires or whims, even if you don't want to go live in Iowa. My ways are not your ways. My ways are higher than yours. And so I need you to circumcise your heart. I need you to be open to the things that I have for you, says God. Now listen to the outcome of this in verse 18. It says, "He executes justice to the fatherless and the widow." God does what he wants. He executes justice for the fatherless and the widow. He loves the sojourner, giving him food and clothing. God acts independently of our expectations. God goes outside of what we think are conventional aspects, conventional practices, and he says, I'm going to bless whom I will bless. Listen to this then for us, verse 19. He says, "Then love the sojourner, therefore, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. You shall fear the Lord your God. You shall serve him and hold fast to him, and by his name you shall swear. He is your praise. He is your God, who has done for you these great and terrifying things that your eyes have seen." What's God saying to the people of Israel here? He's saying, look, you might think that you know what's best. You might think that you have the plan in mind. You might think you know where you're going. But let me tell you, circumcise your heart, open yourself, and watch what I do, says God to the people. I serve the fatherless. I execute justice for the widows. I do that which I desire, and I want you not to go your own independent way, but to follow me, because I am independent. I don't take orders from anyone, but I want you to take orders from me, such that you will be blessed. You shall fear the Lord your God. You shall serve him and hold fast to him, and by his name you shall swear. Friends, I think sometimes we get it wrong. And of course, my wife, I don't fault her for saying that. I understand. And we joke about it now. But often, in much greater ways, we say to God, look, God, how about you just bless what I ask you to bless? How about you just do what I ask you to do? But God says, no. No, I'm independent of you. You're dependent on me, but I'm independent of you. Therefore, you need to have your heart open to what I want. What does God clearly say here? What I want is for you to bless the sojourner. I want you to execute justice for the widow. I want you to be a part of my program to bless the world in whatever way I call you to. Friends, that's a great mandate for us today. It's also a great encouragement. We don't have to be in control. We have a God who is in control and who invites us to be a part of what he's doing. To God be the glory. God is independent of us, and that's a good thing. God bless you, friends. Have a great day, and Lord willing, we'll see you again soon on the Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional.